What's going on, guys? Welcome back to River Flame Racing Reviews. We just got done with Fast Friday of 2026. The boost are on, and the boost will be on until Sunday of qualifications for this year's Indianapolis 500. Not only did we just do Fast Friday, we did the drawing today for which drivers will be going where. Scott Dixon drew first, and Christian Lundgaard will follow, and then followed by the one-off of Ryan Hunter-Reay, and then Ed Carpenter and Rinus VeeKay. Round out your top fives in terms of what the qualifying order will be tomorrow. Obviously, the forecast isn't looking great for tomorrow with a lot of rain. We just got to have our fingers crossed, say our prayers, that the weather gods hold off and we don't have any rain tomorrow, or just give us a 3-hour window to allow the cars to be able to go through the 33-car line and then maybe a little more. That's all you need at the end of the day from Saturday. Fingers crossed, or maybe we move it up to like 10 or something like that to give us a better chance at getting it in. We'll have to see. But what did we learn today from this year's Fast Friday? We learned that Chevy is going to smack Honda come this weekend. Chevy, in terms of qualifying pace, is 10 times better than Honda. Now, yes, Felix Rosenqvist is first in a Honda, but that was a toe lap. So, yes, there's a lot of Hondas. Like, I know Ericsson's lapping fifth, toe lap. The only Honda, in my opinion, that is genuinely rapid and can compete with the Chevys is Takuma Sato with Ray Letterman Lanigan Racing, and maybe Palou. I think those are the only two that can compete. In fact, I'm willing to say there's a chance that 12 of the 15 guys going forward on Sunday have a Chevy behind them. I think Sato's going to make it. I think Palou's going to make it. And a surprise. For sure, Sato and Palou, and I could see one more. I think there's a good chance you see 12 Chevys and 3 Hondas in the Fast 15. I don't mean to exaggerate that. I think that's just the truth. The Chevys looked really, really quick. Obviously, I said Felix Rosenqvist was first. He ran a 2:33.372. Sorry, I looked closely there. Alexander Rossi is second. Now, you talk about a guy who could be in legit pole contention, or at least Fast 6. I think Alexander Rossi is that guy. Do I think he's going to get the pole? No. I think it's going to be a Penske car, particularly McLaughlin or Malukas. But I think Alexander Rossi is going to be in the Fast 6, and I think he's really going to surprise some people. I said in my qualifying predictions video, I expect Rossi to be very competitive. I should have expected him to be more competitive because he's a great qualifier, and where else would you expect Alexander Rossi to be? And Scott McLaughlin rounds out your top 3. I think he's probably the favorite for pole, with Dave Malukas having an outside shot. And I already said Takuma Sato and Marcus Ericsson were 5th. And I've already talked about how I think, and Palou 6th, and I've already talked about how I think Sato and Palou are by far the best 2 Hondas in terms of pace, because Rosenqvist and Ericsson had a lot of help to get those laps. Now, real quick, I want to give 2 shout-outs. One to Keepsakers, because if you want to have sweet merch at the track in 2026, go to keepsakers.com because they make the most cool and unique merch out there. And the second one is TB Racing for making incredible thumbnails. Check them out. You want to follow TB Racing on Instagram and go to keepsakers.com to get your amazing shirts. Ed Carpenter in 7th, the only owner driver in the field. Ed Carpenter has an up and down month. He's had moments of brilliance this month, and he's had moments where it's, I'm a little worried about old Ed. I'll be interested to see what Ed can do. Honestly, he drew 4th. I think he's got a good shot getting into the Fast 15. Do I think he's going to be in Fast 12 or Fast 6 potential? I don't know, but I think he's got a good shot at the Fast 15. Pato O'Ward 8th. He appears to be the quickest McLaren car. I don't think McLaren's all that quick. Maybe I'm wrong, but he appears to be the quickest McLaren car. Rinus VeeKay 9th. I think Rinus VeeKay is going to be really strong. Brian Reinbold appears to be really strong. I expect Rinus to be about as strong as Connor Daly in terms of qualifying pace. Nolan Siegel 10th. He's continued to put together a really solid month. He's going in 7th position. Car 6 is going in 7th position. Literally, when I heard that, I thought of 6-7. I know I'm like have the brain of an 8-year-old, but that's literally the first thing I thought of. I think Nolan has a good shot at being in the Fast 15. Like, honestly, I know we don't expect Nolan Siegel to do all that much, but I think Nolan Siegel has a great shot at being in the Fast 15 with his drawing and with, I think, probably the second fastest McLaren. He appears, in my opinion, to be better than Ryan Hunter-Reay and better than Christian Lundgaard. Ryan Hunter-Reay said his car feels really good. He's just missing speed. I don't think Nolan's missing speed. I think maybe he's missing a bit of confidence, honestly. I think getting bumped 2 years ago, I think that still weighs on him. I think last year's performance still weighs on him. But I think This is the most confident I'll ever be, and I don't think he's very confident, but I expect that he'll get in the fast 15, honestly. Christian Rasmussen looks quick. I think he's not as strong as Rossi, but I think he's in the Ed Carpenter boat. Might make the fast 15. Not quite sure about the fast 12 or fast 6 for him, but I think he for sure could get into the fast 15. Now, he did draw 27. That does hurt him. We'll have to see. And 12th is Scott Dixon. Now, he's drawn first, and I think if you're to get another Honda in there, I think it's Dixon. I think Sato and Palou are for sure wraps to get into the fast 15. I think Dixon's a 50-50, and you might get one surprise one. As I said, it would not surprise me to see 12 Chevys and 3 Hondas. Connor Daly, 13th. He's extremely quick. I think Connor Daly is for sure in the mix for the fast 6. I fully expect Daly to be up there and competing. He's got a solid drawing tomorrow right in the mid-pack. I could see Daly being in the top 10 tomorrow and competing for the fast 6 come Sunday. Will Power, 14th. He had a kind of a sweet moment with the sun when his son went up there to draw. I'm really hoping Will Power can be strong, but I'm just not trusting Andretti. Andretti seems really slow. Even Hinch and Townsend were talking about that on the broadcast today. If you're a fan of Andretti Global, it's time to get worried, because it is time to get worried. They don't look very strong. That 222 that Kyle Kirkwood did on Tuesday, he's not going too much faster than 222. In fact, he's only doing a 231. I know that's a kind of a big jump, 9 miles an hour, but it isn't as big as a jump as we're seeing other teams take. Jack Harvey, 15th. He drew 30th. I think Harvey, with how quick Giant Reinbold is, I think he's got a good shot at the fast 15. I think he's going to be on the cusp of the fast 15 or just a little bit outside looking in. But Harvey, I expect to be a solid 13th through 18th car in terms of qualifications. David Malukas, 16th. I fully expect him to be competing for the Fast 6. I expect all 3 Penske cars, Connor Daly, and I don't quite know who else, maybe Sato, maybe Palou in the Fast 6. It's kind of what I'm looking at for the Fast 6. Kyle Collette and Santino Ferrucci go 17th and 18th for Foyt. They appear to be kind of quick. I think they could be Fast 15 contenders for sure. Christian Lundgaard, in my opinion, is on the struggle bus this month in terms of speed. I know a lot of people aren't saying that, but I kind of am observing that. I don't think Lundgaard is that quick and all-out pace. Joseph Newgarden is 20th. He appears to be the slowest Penske car, but that's the way it's been in years past. You know, when you think about last year and the year before, he was definitely behind Scott McLaughlin and Will Power in terms of pace, but in terms of race pace, he's probably the best. I think he's the best in terms of race pace, but slowest in terms of qualifying pace. But that doesn't matter. Joseph Newgarden starts 5th, he can win. Joseph Newgarden starts 13th, he can win. Joseph Newgarden starts 32nd, as he did last year, he can win. Marcus Armstrong, 21st. Elio Castroneves, 22nd. Honestly, Meyer Shank aren't as strong as I thought they were going to be. That lap from Felix was a toe lap. I'm a little worried about Honda. I'm a little worried about Meyer Shank. I know they have number 1 today. I'm still worried about Meyer Shank. I'm worried about Ray Hall, and I'm worried about Coyne. And I'm worried about the HMD with Catherine Legg. Those are the teams I'm worried about. Kyle Kirkwood, 23rd. As I said, I don't think Andretti's very quick. I think Andretti is going to be a solid midfield team, but in terms of what we expect out of Andretti, I'm very, very worried about Andretti. Louis Foster, 24th. As I said, worried about Ray Hall. 25th, just announced today that he's going to have a Texas Roadhouse sponsorship, which is pretty cool. That's Jacob Abel. The past 2 years, Jacob Abel's probably had the biggest brand sponsoring him. Last year's Miller High Right. This year it's Texas Roadhouse. I'd say that's the biggest brand, for sure the most recognizable brand. So that's pretty cool on the Jacob Abel. Graham Rahal gets 26th. Stingray Robb gets 27th. Kiffin Simpson, 28th. Kiffin Simpson is definitely a lot slower than his 2 teammates in Palou and Dixon, but that's kind of what we expected out of Kiff Dog. I'll be interested to see if Kiff Dog can recover and maybe get towards the front. Dennis Hauger, 29th, and Roman Grosjean, 30th. As I said yesterday, Dale Coyne is having a real solid month, but then just like last year, the second the boost comes on, all of a sudden that positive month they were having kind of goes to nowhere, and I think that's what you're going to see this year. Ryan Hunter-Reay, 31st. As he said, he's kind of missing car speed, and I think it's showing today. Mick Schumacher has been 32nd, I believe, all week. Catherine Legg in her traditional 33rd spot. Yeah, if we're picking a last row, if I just had to pick right now, last row, I'm going to go Catherine 33rd, Mick 32nd, and like Dennis Hauger 31st. Kind of just what I'm feeling. If I'm going for a front row, I'm going to go... Malukas, Palou, McLaughlin. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think for your first and last row. Let me know if you think I'm crazy if you're saying 12 Chevys and 3 Hondas. And with that being said, see ya.